Hello, what's up guys, I'm Kyle from KGR, and today we're going to be taking a look at my Game Boy collection. Now, normally I would show off like a giant stack of games, but it's just a bunch of little cartridges and it's going to look all sloppy in my hand, so that's a terrible idea. Now, my Game Boy collection is really nothing to really write home about. Like, it's nothing like my Wii U collection, it's nothing like my Wii collection or anything. It is a half decently sized collection, but there's a lot of things that should be in the collection that I don't have. A lot of things I do want, a lot of things I don't really care about, so I'll get into those hopefully at the end of the video if I remember. But in this video we're going to be going over my Game Boy, my Game Boy Color, and my Game Boy Advance. Now the Game Boy and Game Boy Color are like little to nothing, so it almost doesn't matter. So I'm going to go over them real quick. But I explain things, so this video is going to take a long time. So, a lot of you are still also waiting for my room tour. Yep, I have no idea when I'm going to do that. It'll happen sometime. When? I don't know. So without further ado, let's get into the collection. Now let's first go over the games that are like kinda ass. And the first one let's talk about is Beavis and Butthead. Why I have this game and how I got this game, I have no idea. Well, I loved Beavis and Butthead as a kid. I'm assuming that I got it from the game stand that I work at. I have no idea. I just got it as a kid and I loved it for the Super Nintendo for some reason. I hear it's a bad game and I played it again. It's not easy, but I still enjoyed it nevertheless. So I picked it up for the Game Boy. I'm like, hey look, Beavis and Butthead. I like Beavis and Butthead. Let's pick it up. And know that I was enjoying this in elementary school. I watched the show. I had a wonderful time. Why mom let me watch it as a child? I have no idea, but as soon as I turned on South Park, oh no, she hated that. Anyway, I have this. The game sucks. Probably play it again for a stream or something or a video. I don't know. I hacked my Super Nintendo Classic to play Game Boy games, so why not, right? And next we have Pac-Man. Now this game isn't really that bad, but like if you're gonna enjoy Pac-Man on the go, there are a lot more options. But I got the special color edition because here, as you can tell, this one's black, which means that it can fit in both the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Color will actually add more colors to it. And I'll also include the bonus game Pack Attack. The original have that? I have no idea. I'll probably check it when I get back to work. Now, I'm probably not gonna play this ever again. From what I remember, I think it's like a zoomed in version of the map. So like, you can't even see the full map, but I think or there's two options. I cannot remember. I haven't touched this in over a decade. Probably a decade and a half, because I'm 24 now, and I barely remember anything about that game. And now let's get into the good games for the Game Boy. First one I want to show off is Mario Land 2. Now I had this ever since I was a kid. I don't remember for the life of me how I got this. I just had it. And for a few years, it was missing. And then I was moving into this room. I was emptying out my other room. And then I just found this. I'm like, hey, fuck yeah. Because I actually just rebought this on the eShop. And now I got 2 copies. But yeah, fucking Mario Land 2. Yeah, if you haven't played this yet, get it on the eShop. It's a great time. I also got Mario Brothers Deluxe. Now, this is my way of playing the original Mario Brothers when I was a kid. I never got the NES Game Boy Advance re-releases, but we got Excite Bike, but I have no idea what happened to that. But I enjoyed this as a kid. This is my way of playing it, and my mom taught me a bunch of secrets of Mario Brothers when I was a kid, so that was freaking awesome. And the only reason why I was able to beat Super Mario Brothers was because of the fact of save states. Well, not really save states, but it's more like save files. Save files were on this game, the original one didn't, so that's how I beat it. Now, as an adult, when I try to go back to play the game, I can get up to World 7, but that's it. But I remember when you get past World 7, World 8 is just a breeze. You just run. That's the only thing I remember. And then we also got Pokemon Yellow. Now, I cannot remember exactly what time in my life that I got this. I remember I got this like later into my childhood. Because as a kid, I had Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Blue. I don't remember exactly how I got those games, but I just had them. And I remember I was getting back into Pokemon. I think I got the season DVD or something, or I can't remember. I was just enjoying Pokemon a lot again. And I was watching the show again. I'm like, hey, you know what, Mom? Can you get me Pokemon Yellow for Easter? So it was probably about middle school or so. It was around the time that GameStop still actually carried Game Boy games, so we got this game for $9.99. If you can see it, I have no idea. Game is faded as fuck. Point is, this game is not $9.99 anymore, and honestly, I never beat it. Is it a good game? Oh, absolutely. You can get a talking Pikachu. You You can get a surfing Pikachu. You can get possibly a flying Pikachu. I have no idea. You can get all 3 starters. Fuck yeah. But anyway, I gave my copy of Blue to my friend Ian because he already had red and yellow. And I already had yellow myself, and I didn't really care about blue all that much. I'm like, here you go, bro. Complete your collection. Gold, I have no idea what happened to that. But I have yellow now in case I want to go back to the classics, or I could just download the rest of them on the eShop, or just get a ROM and emulator like everybody else. But I got yellow on cartridge, and I'm happy about that. Now, of course, for the Game Boy, it was an interesting time, so you gotta have some obscure shit. One of them, in particular, is the Game Boy camera. Please excuse my stupid decals I put all over it, but I got a Game Boy camera. Now, I got this at the game stand when I was a kid, probably around elementary school or so. Either elementary school or middle school, like early middle school. I got this for dirt cheap, and I never even heard of it. So I'm playing with it, and the camera quality's ass, but I didn't care. It's my first digital camera. I'm playing with it. I'm having a good time. Then my friend Brett really wants one. He offers to give me his prepaid cell phone for this thing. My mom and dad didn't want me having a cell phone because they couldn't afford it. Plus, I have no other idea why they wouldn't let me have a cell phone. But I had this thing. I thought it was rad, and it took me months to figure out, oh, you can turn that thing around. I didn't even think about it. Took a lot of pictures on here, had a wonderful time. But then the one day I go to put it in, and for some reason it wasn't working. So, you know, you just blow into the cartridge like everybody else, and I know you're not supposed to do that, but fuck you. So I play it, and all my pictures are gone. I was sad, but oh well. You move on, you live, and so ever since all my pictures were gone, I haven't touched this thing since. Anyway, my friend Brett, he ended up getting a yellow one of these, plus the Game Boy printer. Fuck, I wanted the printer! And the most obscure thing I have for the Game Boy is the Game Shark. Now, for you youngins out there, if you don't know what a Game Shark is, it's a little cheat device. You take a Game Boy game, you plug it into your Game Boy, and then you plug it in like this, I guess. So you have your game hanging out upside down like a dumbass, and you can cheat the shit out of your games. Probably cheated in Pokemon Yellow, I can't remember. I'm pretty confident I have. Any other games? Pfft, fuck, I don't know. I wonder how you could cheat Mario Deluxe. Oh, you can cheat Mario Land too. Ooh, man, I was not a smart kid back then. I should have did this shit. And that pretty much covers it for the regular Game Boy games. But before we move on, let me show you something that is really obscure, and that is a Gamecom game, Sonic Jam. Now, if you don't know what a Gamecom is, I mean, I don't blame you, like, no one had one. Just know it sucked. So before I get into the Game Boy Advance games, do know these are not going to be in alphabetical order at all. But I do want to show off a few things that my buddy Eric helped me get. And these are boxed copies of Crash Bandicoot The Huge Adventure and Sonic Advance. Now, as a kid, I always had Sonic The Huge Adventure. I remember when I first heard of it, me and my mom saw it in like a Circuit City catalog or something, and we're like, hey look, Crash is on a Game Boy. And I'm pretty confident Mom's exact words were, why the fuck is Crash on a Game Boy? Because Crash was always a PlayStation guy. So a couple of days later, we buy it. Why? Because I'm a spoiled little shit and I love Crash Bandicoot, so Mama gets me all the Crash Bandicoot games I want. But Eric just got me the box, the manual, and everything, so now I have a complete copy of it, so I think that's fucking awesome. But Sonic Advance, on the other hand, this is a game I always wanted as a kid. My friend Taylor had it, and I think my friend Ian had it, but I never had it, and I liked Sonic. So when I finally got it, oh man, I was so happy. Did I beat it? No, but I got it! And again, it's complete! I just got a comment on my phone, and someone commented I should do my DS collection, so you'll get that next time. Okay, now I think it's time for me to go over my loose cartridge games. They're just all sitting there, not in order at all, so I gotta pick them out. Hold on. I was showing off that I had Crash Huge Adventure. I also got the other Crash games. We got Crash 2 Entranced. Now, Crash Huge Adventure and Crash Entranced are not bad at all. Like, they actually play extremely well. I tried playing it again, and the controls were really odd because it's not a typical gameplay style compared to a PlayStation controller. So I was playing it, and I'm like, holy fuck, it's gonna take me a long time to get used to this. So I'm gonna stream it sometime, and I hacked it onto my Super Nintendo Classic, so I have a better way of streaming it. Then we got Crash Purple. This game sucked. I love Crash. Don't get me wrong. I love Crash more than anything except for my girlfriend. Crash Bandicoot Purple, though, this game was awful. All it was minigames. I thought it was a crossover between Crash and Spyro. I always wanted that. And what I get out of it, I got some shitty minigames, and I had to buy 2 copies of a freaking game, and they both sucked ass. But damn, did it look good on a Game Boy Advance SP. That was the later model that had the backlit screen. Oh, I want one of those so bad. Will I use it? Barely. And like I said, I also had to get Spyro Orange because Crash was in it. And for some reason, when I picked up the game, it also came with a Game Boy case that had like Crash and Spyro on it. This is gonna be one of the most obscure Crash things I have, but hey, fuck yeah. And I also showed off a Sonic game, so let's show off the Sonic shit that I got. Well, there's not a lot. We got Sonic Battle. For some reason, I was super excited about this because I saw it advertised in another Sonic game that I had. And I'm like, man, this is probably awesome. Is it really awesome? Not really, but it got its own arc in Sonic X. Speaking of Sonic X, of course you gotta watch that shit on the go. Now guys, if you don't know what a Game Boy Advance video is, it's a super duper compressed video of like movies, cartoons. I got more of these, by the way, and they weren't great at all. But I enjoyed them because, hey, I can watch Sonic X whenever I want. And I watch Sonic X every Saturday morning, and I loved the shit out of it. Now, is the show really that good? I liked it, except for the final season. I hated the freaking Metarex saga. But this is like the first 2 episodes, I think. But hey, it's Sonic X on a Game Boy, and it didn't look all that great. Anyway, I have more of these Game Boy video things. I got the Nicktoons collection. I cannot remember for the life of me how the hell I got that. We got Shark Tale, and I remember when I got this, I got it in the box, and you got Game Boy Advance SP specific headphones. Those things were obscure as fuck, so I was happy to get those, but then they broke very easily, and I was very sad. Got Codename Kids Next Door. Now, fuck yeah! I love Codename Kids Next Door. I used to have so many action figures of that when I was a kid. Now I don't, and now I'm sad. And we got a Pokemon one saying a hot water battle, Everho the bell tolls. I don't know. It's Pokemon, and I used to have another one that was based on a couple of episodes from season 1. But since I already have those on DVD, it doesn't really matter anyway, so I got rid of it. Gave it to my friend Taylor, I think. He is my childhood best friend. I honestly don't remember what's on the Kids Next Door, and I don't know like what's on the Nicktoons one. And again, I don't remember how I got the Nicktoons one though. Remember at work we have a fuck ton of them, and I'm not a thief, so I didn't steal it. But it's gonna bother me. How'd I get that? We don't really have a lot left. My friend Eric got me those box games, but he also got me Beyblade V-Force. Now, he knows how much I love Beyblade, but I did not touch this when he gave it to me. Because at the time, I wasn't even playing my Game Boy anymore. Now, I remember my friend Justin had this for the GameCube, and he loved it for the GameCube. How well does it play on the Game Boy? I have no idea, and I will probably never know. And another game that's actually really obscure, but I love to death, at least at the time I did, I'm not sure how well it ages, and that is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I loved it so much as a kid. When I found out there was a Game Boy game of it, I ran to Toys R Us and I got it. And I enjoyed the shit out of it. Is it better than Sonic Forces? Is it better than Sonic Boom? Let me know in the comments if you want me to stream this or not, and I'll give it a shot. By the way, they also have a DS game of it too. Oh man, that game was not as good. Then we also got Yu-Gi-Oh! Worldwide Edition, but the Japanese version. Now, the Japanese version can play in English, but the reason why I picked up the Japanese version is because when it came out, when you imported it, you got English versions of the Egyptian god cards. Somebody at Saturday's Market, at the flea market that I work at, did that and was selling the game for $5, so I couldn't get the god cards. The god cards, he wanted $25 a piece for them, but no, fuck you, sir. But I got a cool game out of it, and this is actually one of my favorite Game Boy games of all time. It's the best Yu-Gi-Oh game in my opinion. That and maybe Nightmare Troubadour for the DS. I like that one, but this is overall my favorite. I can go back to this anytime. And I actually streamed this a couple of times, and I did a video on it. Yeah, if you want to see the video of me playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Worldwide Edition, playing against Kaiba, you click right here. And if you wanted to see me do that more, let me know. I'll do it again. And next up, we got some Mario games. We got Super Mario Advance. This is my first Game Boy Advance game. I got it for like Christmas, I think. And it's just Mario 2. And that was my exposure to it. And I thought it was weird, and I liked it. And of course, Pat the NES punk wants to be a fucking hipster and say that that's his favorite Mario game. And then we got 2 of the best 2D Mario games. Super Mario World, which is actually my favorite, but I had the Super Nintendo version as a kid, so when I played this, I'm like, this is weird. And then we got Mario 3. I mainly picked this up because I had the Mario 3 show on DVD, and I'm like, you know what, let's see what the hype is. I barely played it at all, and I have the NES Classic now, and I still have yet to properly play Mario 3. Guys, if you want me to play Mario 3, let me know in the comments, and I might stream it sometime. I think it'd be a fun time. I think next time I have Eric over, we should stream it together. I think that'd be a blast. Fucking love Eric. But that is essentially my Game Boy collection. Now, there's a lot of games that are missing in there. I know some of you are like, hey, Kyle, where the fuck are the Pokemon Game Boy Advance games? Here's the thing. When I was into the Game Boy Advance, I was mainly into Yu-Gi-Oh! I knew that Pokemon Emerald was supposed to be a good game, and I knew Fire Red and Leaf Green were a huge deal, but I never got them because I was poor, I didn't care, and I liked Yu-Gi-Oh! More at the time. Do I regret it? Nah, not really. I don't know. I kind of wish I picked up Fire Red, but Emerald, I don't really care. Now my girlfriend wants Emerald, but she won't let me buy it for her. I used to have Excite Bike as the NES thing, like I said earlier. I used to have Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, but I sold that because I'm fucking stupid and I tried to get Mario figures out of it. Do I regret that? Yes, heavily. But at the time, Mario figures were getting more obscure, so it was like the first time Mario figures were coming out again, so I got super excited, so I was willing to do anything to get these Mario figures. Now, in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that, but I still like them nevertheless. I don't care. There's a bunch of games that I could get, but since I got the 3DS when it first came out, I got like a bunch of ambassador shit. So now you can see like a good portion of my collection like on my 3DS. And since I got the ambassador program, like I got Game Boy Advance games for free that you can't even get on the eShop normally, which is fucking stupid, by the way. But anyway, that's my Game Boy collection. Now, next time that I do this, whether it be like next week or 2 weeks from now, I have no idea. I'll be going over my DS collection. I'll be doing my DS by itself and then my 3DS by itself, because it's just too huge of a collection for me to do them both at the same time. But I had fun doing this. This is gonna be a long video though. But thank you guys so much for watching, and if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description, there's my social media. Follow those, subscribe, and other shit. I don't know. Then after I'm done with my DS and my 3DS, I am gonna move on to my PlayStation collection. Now that is gonna be a journey. Now I gotta put all this shit back. Fuck. So again, like, I had these actually in my DS cases because I had no other way of storing them. And sure, it doesn't really look good to display, but it's a great way to store them, I guess. But God, that's gonna suck doing that again. Again, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And again, we'll go over my DS collection soon enough. Love you guys to death, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace, peace.